Herzog. I hope I spelled her name right. So, so this is actually a third college seminar, if I remember correctly, or maybe fourth one. Rajesh will correct me from Swara. It's part of the series to educate our audience and the Swara audience and guests on the college admissions. And so, in this afternoon, I'm sure both Manisha can and Maya will definitely, shed some light on how research programs, will help in college admissions. So my own son, has been to a highly selective program 2 years ago, and so I mean I've gone through while I was advising himself as a parent. I know how important these research programs, help in the college admissions. Okay, so that including, being a participant in the in the internship programs, for example, or doing some research, with with every other university, or some universities, they have a prestigious research programs associated to their curriculum. For example, like, my son gone through a research program with UC San Diego, okay, in the summer. And he has been to NSLC program, which is kind of more education, a little bit research. And so yeah, there is a he did some independent research too, but whatever the research programs with a mentor's help, so that is what will be definitely counted towards the highly selective programs. So this research experience will not go away for sure. My son had, he started with, I think, four publications, if I remember correctly, 2 years ago. And he was just showing his resume just, last week. And, he said he has 18 publications. I said, wow. So, he's definitely not the only the kid, with this kind of thing. I'm sure, there will be good, smart out kids over there. And all you do as a parent, it's basically, whatever role is, or mentor is, start a seed and then water it, and then provide some support, and then the children will take it forward. Okay, so with that, I would like to hand over it back to Rajesh. Thank you, Rajesh, for giving opportunity, for a kind of a forward word. And yeah, I would basically, I request you to proceed to the next step, please.
Thank you, Venkat Garu. Thank you very much. So, request everyone to change the name. This is again Rajesh from Swara Media. So this session will be streamed on Swara Radio. People can download the app in the App Store with the name Swara Radio, and they can listen it. And again, this would be aired in another a week or so. We'll publish the timing. So request all the parents who joined rename. I mean, change the name. So people, it seems like you're all changing with the name Venkat Nagam. So request you change. And if you have any questions, please raise your hand, and then we'll take it forward. We'll address all your questions. With that said, I would like to hand it over to Manisha ji. Manisha ji, so please take this forward.
Thank you. Thank you, Rajesh. Thanks all the parents for joining. Good morning, because I know some of the parents have registered from India as well. So it's pretty early in India, but thanks for joining and registering for this event. Uh, this is our first event of 2023, and we are very fortunate to conduct this event with our partner Lumiere Education. So before handing over to Maya from Lumiere Education, I would like to give a little brief about secure college admission, what we do, and then we'll hand it over to Maya. Thanks, Rajesh. Once again, Rajesh is our media partner, and this is our third event with Rajesh from Swara Media. So do check out Swara Media YouTube channel, and then they have the print media as well. So give me 1 second. We'll go to slide 4. Okay. So just we'll start with the testimonial from a brief testimonial.
Hello,
from parents.
namaste. I'm Vidya. This is Arvind. We are happy parents of twin girls who are now in University of California. One of them is at UC Davis doing data science with the Regent Scholarship, and the other at UC Santa Barbara doing neuroscience. Thanks to Manisha Ji's college counseling, on top of their own efforts, they were able to make it to where they are today.
We chose to engage Manisha Ji's services the summer just before 12th grade. We figured it was stressful to guide them ourselves, selecting colleges, major, ACT requirements, the essays, and the application process. Everything was complicated. There was a lack of awareness, out of date, stereotype, or even wrong information from all over. We found they were more open to listen to a counselor like Manisha ji. And I think three things that went well were the following. Number one, she was quickly able to work with them to identify their interest and draw up a list of colleges. And that had a mix of in-state and out-of-state, target, safe, or reach schools. Then she had periodic calls to help them shape every essay and review every application. And lastly, she was also helpful in picking the right university once the admission letters arrived. Sometimes the kids can get fixated on a particular college, and that may not be the best fit based on a variety of factors like money or logistics or others. We needed her help to have the right conversation with the children. She was also available easily to chat with us, the parents, if we had any questions during the process.
We first came to know about Manisha ji as a counselor through her workshop about 5 years back. Ideally, we should have sought her services at that time when the girls were entering ninth grade. That would have helped determine the academic and AP courses, volunteer activities, and extracurricular activities, and shape the interest towards a stronger application. It is hindsight for us, but would recommend for others.
In the end, we are glad the girls landed in places they love, and we are thankful for the wonderful job Manisha ji did as a counselor for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Manisha ji.
So just wanted to start it out with some of the testimonial. These are our last year's parent. Okay. So I am a certified college counselor. I have a 10 plus years of experience. I did my certification is in college admission counseling from UC Riverside. It's almost 2.5 years of certification. We have team of experts, Venkat, who just gave a forward before me. He is our expert on BSMD program, and which is accelerated medicine path. We have a college financial planning expert on our team as well. I am part of UC counselors team, so I do get regular updates and changes to the UC CSU system, as well as NACSC, where we get updates about out of state and in-state private colleges. So any other counseling services, just like any other counseling services, we have obviously the college counseling, our primary goal, but it starts as early as even 9th grade. We have the counseling for even for middle school parents, where we tell them about what is coming up, what is high school, what should be the emphasis for the students, what should not be the emphasis for the students, and all the basically giving them the bird's eye view. We have the, as I mentioned, BSMD, BSDO specialist counselor, college financial planning. We are launching AP exam prep boot camps, which will be conducted by the educationalist and the PhD holders starting from April. And the boot camps, it will be prepping the students for their upcoming AP exams in May. It will be just 7 hours where we will not be teaching them the material, but the going over the strategies. Because what happens, kids spend whole 1 year preparing for the AP material. But if they don't score above 4 or 5 in the AP exam, and if they get, let's say, 2 or 3 in the AP exam, most of the colleges will not consider it. And kind of their whole year's effort, they get very disheartened with all those efforts and the extra hours they have put into it. We do have SAT tutors, high schools, which we have tutors for high school math, sciences, and coding subject as well. Just like Lumiere Education, we have partnered and collaborated with subject matter experts in the research areas. We have network of non-profit organizations, startups, and corporates, so that it becomes easy for us to find the volunteering and internship opportunities for our students. So these are some of the highlights for our seniors. So early applications have come up. So our students have got into Purdue, U Michigan, UIUC, UMD, VCU with honors and accelerated medicine path, Case Western and Northeastern. If you may have heard from many students, because this time Purdue and UIUC have received a large number of application, and many students who were very confident that they will get into Purdue, UIUC, UMD, they either got deferred, they were suggested other options of campuses, or even they got rejected. But our students, whoever have applied to Purdue, they all got into Purdue with their chosen major. Our alumni students were in all of the uses, since we are locally in California. We have the students in Davis with Regent Scholarship. We have students in UCLA with Regent Scholarships. We have students placed in Stanford, Columbia, and UPenn over the period of last 10 years. So what we help out with student, if you see here, the red pencil among all the black pencils. So this is, I would say, our strength is we find out students' own strengths, not ignoring their weaknesses, but we can basically highlighting their strength. And this is how they stand out. And we work with students individually, not in a group setting, but on an individual level, and coach the students about their activities and all the plans. So this is one of, and again, one of this testimonial of our current senior
Hi,
student.
my name is Anvi Kura and I'm a senior. I have been with Manisha Ji since the start of my junior year. Although the college admission process is very hard and a very lengthy one, with many various factors being incorporated, Manisha Ji has made it very easy for me to find a path to follow. Not only has she provided me with many activities related to my intended majors, she has also provided me with many course selection tips, SAT tips, major selection, college list making, and is very easily accessible. I am able to reach out to her whenever I want for any spontaneous meetings, and she will always be available. And this is not seen in many other counselors who I've known. As the current senior right now, she's been working on me on my college applications with the essays, activity list, and helping with my major selection. She is very thorough when she helps me and is always working her best to make sure that my application stands out. She's provided me with many great tips and advice and edits my essays very fast. Through every single small process, Manisha Ji has helped me and has always been there for me to provide me with helpful information. I would definitely recommend her to anyone, as she is someone you can definitely count on and she'll always be there for you.
So as I mentioned, thanks once again, Rajesh, for our partner. Swara Radio is our media partner. Lumiere Education. So Maya will give a talk about what the research opportunities are available at Lumiere and why research is important. If any parent would like to, whoever are not my students, but any parent who would like to register for the Lumiere education programs, just talk to us before so that we can work out with Maya and we'll offer some discounts, and even for attending today's session as well. These are some of our events in February and March. And if you can visit our website as well, you will find our upcoming events for February and March, and you can register it there. Some of the events, along with the educational seminars, which are definitely needed for the parents, we do offer seminars such as high school stress and how to handle it, which is very, very crucial for students because they have been going through a lot of peer pressure, which many parents may or may not be aware of. And that seminar will be conducted by one of the basically psychologists. Another seminar that I would like to highlight here is Sanskrit as a foreign language. So lot of our students, if they don't want to do maybe Spanish, they don't want to do French, or they don't want to do ASL, there are other options such as Sanskrit if they are interested in learning the language and get the credits in between in the process. So we will be having this seminar directly from Sanskrit Bharati, who will be talking about how students can take the Sanskrit as a foreign language, not through school, outside of school, but it is registered with UC system, so they will get that A2G credit as well. If they are out of state applying, they will still get the foreign language credit. So these are the two, along with these are the two seminars I would like parents to see, and please visit our website and then you can register it. So I will stop here now And then let's take it back to Maya. So thanks, Maya from Lumiere Education, and then take it forward for your presentation.
Perfect. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen.
Yes.
Can everybody see my screen and also hear me? Good.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful to be here. We love partnering with Secure College Admission, so just super grateful to be able to share with you all today. So I'm going to speak for a little bit of time, hopefully not too long, and then I really want to be able to answer any questions that people might have about doing research in high school, research's impact on college admissions, or any questions specific to Lumiere. So feel free to put questions in the chat while I'm speaking, but I'll also have time to answer some after. So just some quick context. My name is Maya Novak-Herzog. I'm a PhD candidate at Northwestern University. So here's a photo of me presenting my research at a conference. And then here's a photo of our beautiful campus when it's not currently 10 degrees outside. It's very, very cold here right now, but in the summer, it's quite beautiful. So I've actually worked as a mentor with Lumiere for the past 3 years. I've worked with about 15 students on research projects, and now I'm in a slightly larger role talking with you all. So that's some context on who I am. So I think a big question that people often ask is, why does research matter? And why might a high school student pursue research? It is something that can be very complicated and take a lot of time. So why is it so important? And we come back a lot to the idea of what it means to stand out in the college admissions process. So oftentimes when you are thinking about applying to college and you're thinking about what that means for you as a student or for your child as a parent, you think about this concept of being well-rounded and having lots of different strengths in lots of different areas. And what we know is that often it's also very important to focus intensely on one area and to demonstrate in your college application that you have a lot of depth in one particular area. So you don't just want to check off boxes of things you've done, but you want to show that you have invested time and energy into something that you care about. And so that's really where research comes in. And as you can see with this photo, research helps you make a very large spike so that you stand out. So what is research's role in admissions then? So as you know, once you send in your application, that is just the start of a very long process of colleges evaluating your application. So the first thing that happens, right, is all of these applications get sorted. If you're applying to somewhere very competitive, the college is probably reading tens or hundreds of thousands of applications. The first thing that happens is an individual reads the application. If they like it, they might pass it on to someone else. If that person likes it, it might get passed on to someone else. And then they end up with this sort of final pool that a committee then reviews. And if the committee likes it, it goes to sort of the dean's approval, right? They have to get the final approval. So this is where research can be really important. Because as a faculty is reading, they might be reading a lot of applications where people have 4.0s, 5.0s. They might be reading a lot of applications where people have perfect test scores. But people that have done research, let's say you conducted research over a long period of time on blood cancer is an example. This really stands out then as you having done some sort of potential contribution. And it also showcases what you might look like at the university. So showing that you've already done this research project signals to the reviewer that you are already invested in research, that this is what you will do when you're on the college campus. So we know that research as well has been playing a more and more prominent role in admissions. And this quote is always very stunning to me. The vice provost and dean of admissions at UPenn said nearly 1/3 of the admitted students engaged in academic research during their time in college. This is in regards to people that have been admitted to UPenn. So nearly 1/3 of the admitted students were engaged in academic research during their time in high school. And many of these people were either winning awards or being published or something to that effect. So 1/3 is a huge number. We know that this is only growing, especially as things are becoming more test optional, especially as things are getting more and more competitive. Research is really playing a massive role in people's ability to become accepted to universities, particularly competitive universities like UPenn. So then the question becomes, how do you actually develop your own research? Is this something you can do on your own? Do you need help? It can be really confusing to know where to start. So really the first role in, or the first task someone has when they want to do research is figuring out what it is you want to do research on. So the first step is to identify something confusing or interesting, something that you personally feel passionate about. Otherwise, how are you going to go about the intensive process of doing it, right? That you or your student needs to care at least somewhat about it. Then we want to find out what we already know about the topic. So maybe you're really interested in whether or not a certain vaccine prevents cancer. But if somebody else has already done that work, then it doesn't make sense for you to do the exact same thing. So it's important for you to already know what is out there, what has been proven, what has been disproven. After you've done that, you can really go about developing your own argument. So after you sort of know the lay of the field, then you can come in and say, well, this is what I think. I think that this person said this vaccine didn't treat cancer, or didn't prevent cancer, but actually, I think it might. And so that might be your own argument. And then you do the data, and then you're able to write your own research paper. So this is sort of a very quick overview of the steps it takes to conduct research. And then the question always becomes, right, what types of research can you actually pursue? So there's so many different types of research out there. Oftentimes when we hear research, some people might think of only sort of the STEM fields, so science, technology, engineering, and math. But there's actually a lot of research that can be done in social sciences and humanities as well. So these are just a few of the programs that students have done with us. So there's biology, psychology, physics, economics, gender studies, data science, engineering, computer science. The list goes on and on and on. There's so many facets of the world and so many areas that need to be explored. So what we really suggest for students that want to do research is to pick something you are passionate about, not just something that you think will look good or is competitive, because you're really going to be investing a lot of time and energy into this research. And it's really hard to fake that. So some sort of passion is really important. And then oftentimes people don't realize that there are so many different ways to do research. So you can do lab-based research. That's often what we think about as research in medicine and biology, right? Where you're using all of the different tools and materials. You're going into the lab, you're checking out what's going on with your experiment. So that's one way to do research. But there's also quantitative research, right? You might be using your computer, you might be using programs like Stata and R to really be doing modeling-based problems, to do coding, to do computer analysis. There's also qualitative research. So maybe you want to go out into the field, maybe you want to see what's out there, you want to use a case study, maybe you want to conduct interviews or surveys. And then finally, there's literature reviews. And for students who do our program, we always encourage students to include a literature review, even if they're doing other types of projects, because it's so important to know the material that's already out there and to know, like we talked about, what people are saying about the field. So these are all different types of research and research methods. And then the question becomes, after you've really done this research, right, is how can research actually make a bigger impact? And so for us, students will conduct research, but then we always encourage them to take it one step further. So either by publishing in a selective journal, winning a selective science fair, right? The big one is ICEP Regeneron, but there's lots of different types of science fairs students can apply to. You can have a research mentor really advocate for you via a letter of rec. And then you can also just carry out multiple in-depth projects. So you can write one research paper and then you can explore that topic further and really try to make that big spike that we talked about. And then these are just a few journals for high school students. So many people don't realize that there are journals, highly competitive journals, but that actually cater to high school students. And many of the Ivy League schools have their own high school and college level journals. So you can see here, Columbia Junior Science Journal. This is really for those in the social sciences, STEM, and natural sciences. So that's a pretty wide range. And then these are the types of research designs that they accept. So as you can see, for most of the high school level journals, they don't actually accept research that's done in a lab. They're really interested in literature reviews or empirical studies. But because so many people don't have access to actual labs, many of the journals don't accept that type of research. So that's important to think about when thinking about how you want to conduct your research. And there are many of these, and we have whole lists, but these are just 5 that sort of stand out. And then these are some publications and competitions. So when thinking about what you actually want to do with your work, it's important to look at what other people have done and how that has impacted their journey into college admission. So Ojas, he did a project with Lumiere. His research question was exploring the role of humanin as a potential preventative and therapeutic in Alzheimer's disease. Ojas did go on to be the winner of the MIThink competition, which is a highly, highly competitive competition. So we were very proud of him. Zunian wrote Cap or No Cap, what can governments do to promote electric vehicle sales? So that's another example of an economic project that someone might do. And he was published in the Cornell Undergraduate Economic Review, which again is a highly, highly competitive journal. And then these are just a few others. Shaunak, we were very excited because he actually was an ICEF Regeneron national finalist. And he won first place in his regional ICEF fair. His paper was on using neural networks to accurately predict electrical energy within point absorbers. So I'm hopeful that these topics give you some sorts of ideas of what a high school research question might look like, particularly one that is able to get published or win a competition. And then I just want to go over a few case studies of students who have done research, what they've done and what that might look like. So Andre, his topic was, how does neurodivergence impact speech development? He was doing a neuroscience project. As you can see, here are some stats about him. So he had an incredible GPA, pretty good SAT scores. He was the president of the pre-med club in high school, 9 years of piano, tennis. He was accepted to Yale University. That was his top choice. He actually ended up going to Yale. And he wrote a literature review. So we were talking about the different types of research you can do. Andre wrote a literature review. He said he struggled with the readings initially, but he was really able to produce something quite amazing. And he was able to, like we talked about, produce that academic spike in neuroscience. So he went on to actually get an internship at Yale, and he is thriving. So Andre is definitely one of our star examples. We're really, really proud of him. He also submitted the entirety of his research paper. So that's something to consider, as well as some universities allow you to actually submit your entire research paper. And some universities, Harvard in particular, they do peer review of research papers that students submit. So that's something to think about. Theo, he's in economics. He wrote on the impact of the USA and China's AI advancement on the European market and its role in reshaping global power dynamic. And here are a list of his school acceptances. So he ultimately ended up going to UC Berkeley, but as you can see, he was accepted to San Diego, McGill, University of British Columbia. He did quite amazing in his applications, and those are some of his stats. So as you can see, really good GPA, good SAT. And then he ended up working with a political scientist at MIT for this paper. And then he ended up publishing his paper in the Journal of Student Research. So again, as we can see, publications are making quite a large impact. And then here's a history example. So again, research is not just for STEM or even social science people. Humanities also has a lot of area for research. And so Chai wrote, how do people of all generations of Vietnam remember controversial events from history? She was also accepted to Yale, so another phenomenal Yale acceptance. And her story is very interesting because she had a bit of a personal connection to Vietnam. And so she decided she really wanted to conduct research in that area. And as you can see, having that personal connection can actually really help you succeed. So she has always felt that her national government's actions in the past have been questionable, and she wanted to use her research to sort of reconcile this with future generations. And her paper was quite amazing. Oops, so now I just want to talk a little bit about Lumiere. So all of the examples that I've highlighted are students that have done the Lumiere research program. And all of the publications that I talked about are students that have done our publication program in particular. So I will share a bit about the difference in those programs. So we were founded by Harvard and Oxford researchers. We're a selective research program where students work one-on-one with a researcher from a top university. So most of our PhD candidates are from the top 20 universities in the US, as well as Oxford and Cambridge. And then here are a bit of our numbers. So we have over 750 mentors that work for us. We have had, this number is actually wrong. We've now had about 1,000 students do our program. And we've worked with students in 37 countries. So all of the meetings will be on Zoom. They'll be in real time, but on Zoom. And that's how we're able to match students in all different countries with mentors at top universities in the US. And then we also offer financial aid as well for eligible students. So what is the application timeline? And when I'm done with this, I'll post a link to our application in the chat. But essentially you fill out an application online. That's sort of the first step. And then after your application, you receive an interview. If you're selected in the interview, you're sort of talking to someone about what your interests are, what your expectations in a mentor are, and we're asking you about your research experience and what kind of research you want to conduct. Then you'll be matched with a mentor. So you'll approve the mentor match before we go ahead with the program. And then if the mentor match works out, you start the program. And all secure college admissions students will receive a discount. And you'll also, when you apply, we'll ask you, are you working with a private counselor? And if you put that you are, we'll see that, and that can also help in the evaluation of your application. So that's very important to note here. And then this is what the program looks like. So if you're actually accepted and decide to do the program, here's how it works. First, you'll meet with a mentor and align on a topic. Then the mentor will really help you pick your research question. It can be really hard to know what you want to do research on or what a research question should actually look like. So the mentor will support you in actually crafting that question. Then you'll write a research paper with support from a mentor and a writing coach. So you'll also work with one of our writing coaches who will sort of work with you on the finer details of your writing. Then you'll make final edits and submit paper for evaluation. And then all students will experience a graduation ceremony. We always have somewhat of a famous keynote speaker. And then those in the premium research and publication program will continue to meet with their mentor to submit their paper for publication. And then, like I mentioned, we have so many areas of research available. These are just a select few to showcase the diversity of research interests. But if you or your student's interest is not listed here, we still have, like I mentioned, we have over 750 mentors that work with us. So that research interest is probably available. And then our mentors come from all of the top universities. So we have mentors from every single Ivy League. Sorry about that. From every single Ivy League. I'm at Northwestern, from Oxford, from Cambridge, from MIT, etc. So we really pride ourselves in having mentors from top universities. And then here's just a small selection of accepted students and what they have done. So we talked about Ojes before and his topic on exploring humanin as a preventative to Alzheimer's disease. And so this is what he said. He was very happy about having the mentor that he did, and he was very happy about his project. Alexandra was published in the International Journal of High School Research, and her project was on cancer mRNA vaccines as a promising approach for treating luminal A breast cancer. And then I think we already talked about Zamian as well, who was published in Cornell University's undergraduate economic review. So these students were all accepted and did quite well in the program. And then here's what the program actually looks like. So we offer 3 different programs. The individual research program, you meet with your mentor at least 9 times over a period of 12 weeks. You meet with a writing coach twice, and you also experience workshops with Lumiere directors. However, what we found is that many students did indeed want to publish their work. So if you decide you do want to publish your work, then the premium research and publication program is probably for you. You'll meet at least 15 times with your mentor. You'll meet with the writing coach 4 times, and you'll also work with a publication specialist who will work with you very early on to define what your reach publication is and sort of your target publication, just like you might do with college admissions, right? Maybe your top choice is that you really want to be published in Cornell's undergraduate economic review, but you know that that is highly competitive, so you'll have a backup as well, and the mentor will work with you at least 3 times to make sure that you are able to eventually publish. And then finally, for students who want to apply to ICEF Regeneron or MIT Think or a highly competitive competition, the Lumiere Research Fellowship might be for you. It's much longer, at least 6 months to a year. You work with a writing coach 6 to 8 times. And then at the end, you submit to a highly competitive competition or publication. So if you have a goal in mind like that, it's good to start early. And then finally, here are our application deadlines. So winter has already passed, but spring cohort applications are open until February 12th. The cohort starts on March 6th. And then our summer cohort is our largest and most popular program. Priority admission is March 12th. And then we have regular admission, which is April 16th. And then the cohort starts June 5th. We also have a cohort that starts at the end of July. We offer 2 summer cohorts. And for that program, regular admission is May 14th. But this cohort does tend to fill up. So I highly recommend submitting by that March 12th priority deadline if you know that you want to do the program. The turnaround for knowing that you're accepted is pretty quick. It's about 2 weeks. And that way you can also plan and know what you want to do with your summer. And then this is the contact information. I'm also going to post my email in the chat. And I'm also going to post our application link in the chat if you're interested in that. I'm happy to jump on a call or email back and forth with anyone if you'd like to know what exactly the program might look like for you or your student. And other than that, happy to answer questions if there are any. You can post them in the chat or feel free to unmute yourself. And I'm going to post my email as well. And I think that's it from me. Thank you so much for listening and for being here.
Maya, for giving us the overview about what research means, and then about, of course, about the Lumiere program as well. If anyone has any questions, I would suggest please unmute yourself and feel free to ask your question to Maya. Or if you have any questions specifically for me as a secure college admission counselor, please do so, unmute yourself.
Hey, this is Dipesh. Hey, Maya, thanks for the information. I have a question on the costing for this programs, like whatever you said, like, starting from 12 weeks to, the publication. And that's one question I have. And the second thing is my daughter is in junior year. So how she can start and when, and how she can finish before the college application. And
Okay, got it.
It is going to help really, right? So, yeah.
You said the cost, and then you said she's going into her junior year?
Yeah, she is currently
A junior. Okay, got it. Yeah, great question. So our basic program is $2,600, and then the premium publication program is $4,800. If you're someone that needs financial aid, you would apply for that on the same application link that I just posted. And again, you will receive a discount if you work with Secure College Admission. So that is another benefit, I think, of working with them. As far as being a junior, so this is great. We get asked this question a lot. I would recommend, what we found is that students who do the publication program in the spring or the first summer cohort are able to publish and make those deadlines. So I would really recommend your daughter do the program, either the one that starts March 6th or the one that starts June 5th. And then what happens is when she's actually working with a publication specialist, she can talk to that person about the upcoming deadline and how she wants to have a publication before she actually applies. And we have sort of the time it takes for those different publications to get back. So notoriously, some take much longer than others. And so we can sort of target her entire goal and package towards having that publication ready for fall applications. But almost always for spring, absolutely, and summer, almost absolutely. I think just the earlier you start, the more publication options she has. And thank you for those questions.
Thanks. Thanks for the clarification.
Quick question. What grade do you recommend the kids to participate in the Luminera program?
What grade?
Yes.
Early they can get into the program, probably, Maya. You can emphasize on that.
Yes, so we work with all high school students. The majority of our students are in 10th and 11th grade, but we'll work with anyone in high school and older. If students are younger, so 8th grade and below, it's more of a case-by-case basis. We'd really want them to be ready, but everyone in high school is more than welcome, and the majority of students are in 10th and 11th grade. Thanks for your question.
Any other questions before we go to the next?
Also, what is the difference between the two different packages you mentioned?
Yeah, so the first package, it's 12 weeks. You write the research paper, but you won't work with a publication specialist, and there isn't necessarily publication support. The publication program, from the beginning, from starting the program, you have publication in mind as the final goal. So you do the same 12-week program as the basic program, but then the entire time you're working with a publication specialist, and the program is longer because we support the student through 3 rounds of submission. So ideally, it only takes 1 round. Ideally, the student gets into their goal publication. But if not, we'll come back and work on the paper again. And publication, hearing back from publications can take anywhere from 2 weeks to 2 months. And so a lot of that is waiting to hear back and then revising the paper. And then finally, the fellowship is much, much longer. So the fellowship can be anywhere from 6 months to a year long. And you're working with a publication specialist all along the way.
So if I add it all, 12 weeks plus the waiting period plus the 6 to 12 months. Am I getting it right?
Yes, so the first program is 12 weeks and then you're done. The second program it's the 12 weeks, but then there could be 2 to 3 months after of editing and revising. We don't have an exact timeline because it really depends on which publications you're submitting to and how many tries it takes. And then the third program, the fellowship program, is anywhere from 6 months to a year. And that also depends on how frequently you meet and which sort of competition you have in mind. So if you're applying to Regeneron ICEF, you start the program, you then might compete in the regional science fair. Then if you win that, you'll compete in the national science fair, and we'll support the student the entire time. And so that's why it's much longer. So it's sort of 3 programs and each program gets a bit longer.
And you have everything listed on your site?
We offer everything. Was that the question?
Sorry, the question is, do you have all of this listed on your website?
Yes, this is all on our website, and you are welcome to email me as well. I can also share the slides to anyone that's interested.
Thank you.
Hi, Maya. Thank you for your presentation. Okay, my son is in his junior year now, and he's doing AP capstone seminar at the moment. And now, should we sign up? He would be doing he would be researching on a topic in addition to the AP program that he is doing now, correct?
Yes, so it depends what he wants to do. If he wants to work on that same topic and deepen it, that's totally welcome, or he can do a totally different topic.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
So we've worked with students before who have already sort of written something and they really want to take it to the next level and make it really, really rigorous. We've also worked with students who just want to do an entirely different program. So that's up to you and it's up to them.
Any last question? Awesome. So thanks, Maya. Wonderful presentation, and it's a great start of 2023. Hope the parents, they got the benefit of the research, why research is important and why you should do at Lumiere. As Maya mentioned, all the PhD students from the top-notch universities are there, and we are partnering with Lumiere from this year onwards. So for the parents who have joined it, my name is Manisha from Secure College Admission, and Venkat is also here, who's another counselor with us. So please feel free to reach out to us for any counseling services. We do college counseling, end-to-end services as early as 9th grade and as late as definitely senior year. And then why research is important, as Maya mentioned, because a lot of the universities are now letting go of SAT, ASAT. The students are doing internships, students are forming their own nonprofit, but then again, it comes down to what is different. And then research is becoming that different component for students. And that's what we recommend to all our students as well. And go to our website, go to Lumiere's website. If you want to join the Lumiere's education program, please mention if you're working with us, or if you would like to sign up our services and Lumiere services, you will definitely get a discount. So when you reach out to Lumiere, just let them know that you are through Secure College Admission and you will get a discount on the research packages as well. Venkatji, do you want to do a vote of thanks for Rajesh and before even we conclude the session?
Yeah, so I think before Venkat Garu join back, so I think I have I would like to add a few other things too. Maya and Manisha, thank you very much for the details, and and I appreciate the kids, kids and parents taking time to attend on a Sunday and taking care of their next generation of news and leaders. Thank you very much for this. Maya ji, Maya, I want to let you know that through Swara, we publish articles as a magazines and we do digital publication. And Venkat Nagam Garu recommended a few of the articles from his network. So Swara magazine covers some of the Western articles, which includes technology, life sciences, medical, and many other articles. So feel free to connect your students and papers to publish in international journals like international magazines like Swara. So we would love to we would love to publish them in the future versions of magazine. So with that, thank you all for joining, and Maya, thanks for taking time on Sunday, and thank you, Manisha ji.
Thank you so much. And parents, stay connected with us. So Rajesh, us and Lumiere, definitely we will be bringing more such events for you in the year of 2023. And have a rest of the good evening for all of you before Monday scary starts from tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.